Well, hello, friends. Welcome back. I'm Allie, the Grow Witch, so thank you for being here. This is a safe space for all paths. We will talk about everything esoteric, spiritual, occult, and witchcraft here. I walk the middle path, so that means I work with both the left and the right paths or sides. I talk to beings, spirits, deities from all pantheons and all beliefs. So if that is something that you vibe with or interests you, then please, by all means, stay. As some of you know or have watched me before, I love divination and all, tarot, pendulums, scrying, crystal balls, um, things, all sorts of divination. But I wanted to try for this video and for many more, I hope to come, my new dowsing rods. So I'm very excited to use these today. And in the future, I'm going to speak to whomever comes through. It could be anyone from Ma Kali or Santa Muerte to Mother Mary, Yeshua, Odin, Freya, Pan, Poseidon, anyone from any pantheon. But I just wanted to state first that the two groups I'm going to focus on the most, because I feel they're very underrepresented or misrepresented, or just don't get to be heard a lot. And so the first group is, the left-hand path, the spirits of the Ars Goetia, which have been, completely misconstrued. And you know how that goes with religions and histories and all the things that have been misconstrued and over the years. So they have so much valuable information to share with us, and they want to be heard, and I want them to be heard. And I've been feeling very called, not only as I've begun to work with them, but to channel for them, and not just for myself, because I do a lot of automatic writing for myself, but for the collective as well. And I was talking to my main man, Lucifer, last night, just to get the green light as to how they wanted me to do these videos, whether I should just channel just straight out, or use tarot or dowsing rods or divination tools or automatic writing, or how. And I asked him for 3 very specific signs. So there's a little tip for you. When you want an answer, you can ask your angels, demons, deities, whatever, for very specific signs. You can even make it fun. So I asked for 3 very specific colors of very specific items last night, to show up on Facebook, Instagram, TV, whatever. And sure enough, they did. He gave me 3 of them, exactly the colors and the objects that I asked for. And he said that I could mix it up, basically, that I could do what I felt called to. So sometimes I will just be straight up channeling in these. Sometimes I'll be sharing with you what I automatic write. Sometimes I'll be using divination tools. So that is the first group that I really, on my path as I was growing and learning, and I just found that there just isn't a whole lot of, there are some YouTubers and occultists, and of course there's many authors and whatnot, but there's not a ton. There's not as many per se on the left hand or representing the Ars Goetia as there is on the right hand, the love and lighters per se, which I'm not throwing shade at that, but I'm just saying, I wanted to hear from these spirits more and talk to them. And there's just a few channels that will do tarot readings with them or talk to them. So that's why I want to do, that's the first group. My second concentration is going to be Pan, Kernunos, my patron deity, witch father, and Mother Gaia, and the elementals, and the Fae realm, and the Fae folk, because they have a lot to say also. The tree spirits, especially the dryads, about our environment, about talking to them more. And, I also practice Druidry, so I also am an animist. I believe that everything, has spirit, and everything wants to be heard. I mean, everything is source consciousness, is creator, source, whatever you want to call it, and has something to teach us or share with us. So those are the 2 main groups. But again, I will be, channeling whoever comes throughout these sessions, so please, if you like this content, consider liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, and asking your questions. Please let me know, who would you like me to channel in the future in one of these videos. And please, what kind of questions would you like to ask? So today we are going to speak to the main man, Lucifer. Of course, I felt like this shirt was Lucifer-ish, and I had to have my necklace for him. But because I was inspired by a video that Meghan just did. Meghan from Solar Glow Meditations. Highly, highly recommend. Check out her channel. I'll post it below. Just did one where she was talking to Lucifer, and Satan even came through a little bit. And I thought it was so interesting, but it brought up even more questions, and I wanted more. And I think other people want more and want to hear more. And so I was talking to Lucifer last night about it, and I wrote down more. And please, if you think of more as we're going along, feel free to share. But I love Meghan because I've watched her grow throughout her time on YouTube, watching her for a few years now. And I actually have put off using dowsing rods because I didn't want to look like a copycat, even though she, bless her, is so sweet. She teaches people how to use dowsing rods, and she encourages people to do so. So I know she wouldn't see it that way, but I did procrastinate for about 6 months to a year now trying this because I didn't want to look like, but of course my spirits have told me that's just the way it is. There's probably 100,000 people that do dowsing rods, and there's probably hundreds of thousands that do tarot readings, which I also do. That's just, in the spiritual communities or the witchcraft communities, you could say, we're drawn to those things. We like those things. So yeah, a lot of people are going to be doing them. You know what I mean? So the last piece I will say before we get going is that dowsing rods, tarot cards, crystal balls, pendulums, these things are just tools. We just don't want to get too caught up in the tools themselves. Take everything with a grain of salt. Always, trust your intuition. Meghan talks about this too. Tools are just a way for us to get in the zone, kind of like visualization or meditation, to just get in the zone and get out of our own heads so that we can channel and spirit can come through. Because I don't know if you're like me or how many can relate, but I have ADHD. And the second I sit down to do something or I go to bed, my head immediately goes, you remind me of the babe. What babe? The babe with the power. What power? The power of voodoo. Hoodoo. You do. What? Remind me of the babe. Oh, oh, ooh, oh. Oh, oh, ooh, oh. Can't stop me loving myself. You're killing it, girl. Killing it, girl. 10 out of 10. No, you're killing it, girl. I stopped my wrist Titanic. Like that's what my head does. Dee 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 do do. Dee 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 do. But like times 10 speed. Okay, so if those of you can relate, then you can. So for me, it just helps to have something to focus on, whether I'm automatic writing, pulling cards, using dowsing rods, and whatnot. So today I specifically wanted to talk to Lucifer about Lucifer, Satan, the devil. All their names and faces are all these the same beings. It's got so misconstrued, and I just love that. I think that we're at a point in humanity now where we're awakening and more open-minded. We know now that the religions were for control, to control us through guilt and fear and lies. And so we're trying to get past that fear programming. And trust me, I was raised born again Christian. I had over 20 years of this fear programming to work through and release. That's a whole nother video for a whole nother day to get to this point, to open my mind and to not see these things, everything's demonic, everything's evil. Oh my God, I can't, you know. And I like when Meghan in her video said, Satan came through or whatever, and he said, it's not what you think. So that being said, whew, okay, this is very exciting. You guys are my first video. Okay, so Lucifer, if you are here, could you please cross the rods for yes? Or if you're here and willing to talk to me and answer questions for this video, could you please cross the rods for yes? Thank you. And could you please open them wide for no? Could you please open the rods wide for no to show everyone no? Okay. That one swings a little more freer than this one does, but okay. Okay, could you please return to the center now? Please return to normal. And I just got these and I just calibrated them before this video. So This is great. Okay. Lucifer, do you consider yourself a fallen angel? As to what humanity is calling a fallen angel, do you consider yourself that? Yes. Okay. Yes, thank you. Um, is it like you said in Meghan's video when she said that you were trained as an archangel, but you chose to come down to earth or stay on earth? Like you told Meghan, is that true? Yes. Okay, thank you. We'll wait till they return to normal. Okay, perfect. Um, is one of the reasons you wanted to stay here was to help humanity awaken? Is one of the reasons that you chose to stay on earth was to help, let me rephrase, help humanity awaken to their own sovereignty and their own power? Yes, thank you. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Can you return to, please return to normal? Okay. Um, oh, is that like a yes and a no? I think it's because it goes into my next question. Do you want to help humans even though some of us are annoying, like you said in Meghan's video? Yes, okay. So some of us, okay, thank you. Let me say, can you please return to normal now? Let me say, um, are some of us ready to awaken? Do you want to help those of us that are ready to awaken? Yes, okay, thank you. Oh yeah, that's right. He said something about can you return to normal, please? He said something about let me hold my arms more steady. Okay. That humans are not meant to be slaves, that mindless slaves are not fun, that we should have free will. Is that true? What you told me last night? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay, please return to normal. Um, are you the planet Venus? Are you actually the planet Venus? Oh, okay. And that corresponds. I was interested to see if it corresponds with what I heard myself last night. Okay, thank you. He said, not exactly, but does he have some Venusian energy? Is that correct? That you have some Venusian energy? Yes. Okay, that is what I heard. Thank you. Did you exist before the Bible was written? Did you exist before the Bible was written? It's kind of a. Did a version of you exist before the Bible was written? Like as the archangel that hadn't come down yet? Okay. Or did you only exist once you came down and we named you Lucifer? Did you then become Lucifer once you came down and we called you Lucifer? Okay. Hmm. Thank you. Oh, I think this ties into my next question. Okay. Are there other versions of you out there now, like other, um, like egregores? Are there other versions of you now out there, like egregores? That's the thing. The humanity is mind is mental, and we create our own demons. We create all kinds of things. We create other faces of these names. Is that correct? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Please return. Are you Do you consider yourself male? Or do you consider yourself both male and female? Or kind of both or either one that you want? And he told me that he's either one and that's how he appeared to me. I see him as either one. Okay, let me okay. Do you often appear with a golden light? You often appear in a golden light. Yes, thank you. Please return. Do you appear to some in a black flame or as a darker version of yourself per se? Yes. Okay, thank you. Please return. Okay, I think he wants me to say I'm supposed to share a little bit of my story of how I met him. Um, yeah, before I go on. Um, he's just amazing. He appeared, it was such a warm, loving energy. It was a beautiful golden light here. Like, you know, a lot of psychics, mediums, we say we see, we don't mean like see, we mean like hear in our mind's eye. But I can't tell my whole story now, but long story short, my daughter and I were in a Christian women's homeless shelter. And it was right about the time, funnily enough, that Doreen Virtue and Kat Von D and all these people were doing their flip switch, 180-degree switch, and going back to religion. And oh my God, and you know, they fell back into the fear programming. And unfortunately, it caused a lot of fear in a lot of other people and caused them to have existential crises as well. And because we got sent to this Christian homeless shelter during this right around that time, it really about threw me into an existential crisis. This was actually right about the very end of 2020 when like the first round of COVID hit. And, you know, from being very ill from COVID and job loss, as many people, you know, we ended up in this shelter. We were very lucky because it's actually combined shelters with men and women. As you could imagine, dicey things happen, but we had our own locked rooms, safe common spaces. It was great, except they made you go to a Bible study or chapel 2-3 times a week. They tried to shove that down you while you were there. And of course, I was not allowed tarot cards, crystals, everything I had gathered over the years, my spiritual stuff, I had to leave all behind. And so I was sitting there thinking, you know, am I being punished? Is this God punishing me? Was I wrong this whole time? Like Doreen Virtue and all these people are talking about, you know, oh my God, like I really almost did have like another dark night of the soul, existential crisis, freak out, thinking that I should start reading my Bible again and maybe I should, you know, whatever. And a lot of other things, you know, happened. Other beings, deities were starting to come to me or whatever. But the one night I was meditating, trying not to, you know, flip switch yet. And he appeared to me, and it was the most warm, loving energy. I never felt that from no God, from no Abrahamic Christian God. I've never felt that in my life. This most non-judgmental, unconditional, just warm, loving energy. And I just burst into tears. And I heard Lucifer, and I was like, as in, you know, the devil, the fallen angel. I didn't know how to take it. And I was like, how in the hell is the devil or a fallen angel coming through in a Christian shelter that's supposed to be protected by God and blah blah blah? You know, what is happening? Like obviously I questioned it for a few days, but he kept persisting in this beautiful energy, and very gently, slowly, he was like, you know, I just want you to love yourself. I want you to realize the divinity within you. He started showing me scriptures to question, like the Nephilim. Like I was like, in 20 years of going to vacation Bible study school and freaking church and everything, do you think anybody ever mentioned the Nephilim ever? No. And the watchers or the angels or whatever it is came into the sons and daughters of men and had children with them, and they birthed this race of giants. And that's where it all started. And I was like, they never do. They never talked about that. They skim over that stuff all the time. And it led me to like Billy Carson, which we don't talk about that whole controversy either, but I had never heard of the Book of Enoch, Gilgamesh, Enuma Elish, the Anunnaki. That led me down that whole rabbit hole, and then to like the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn and the LBRP and Thelema. And I just kept going to studying all these things, finally putting pieces together and what resonated for me. Well, as this is starting, I was hanging my robe up the one night to go to bed in my room, doors locked, all alone, nothing. And this is back in the time, we still had MP3 players, or at least I did. I didn't just have my music on my iPhone. I still had one of them little shit MP3 players with my little headphones. And it was just sitting on my like little table next to the bed. I hadn't turned it on. I wasn't, but I used it to, listen to go to sleep, whatever. It fell on the floor and it turned on. Now I'm not talking, it was not no big clunky thing, these little tiny things falling on the floor wasn't going to turn on the on button and pick a song. It just dropped to the floor and blasting loud through the headphones. Win big, mama's fallen angel. Da, 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 da. Anybody who is, child of the 80s listened to Poison, just blasting. That was not the last song I listened to. That was not even the playlist I had been on. Just randomly started blasting. Oh, I'm getting chills even thinking about it. And I was like, and it didn't even really hit me that I was like, oh, I like that song. Why is that coming on? Until it happened the very next night. It didn't fall on the floor this time, but I'm getting ready to bed and the thing just turned on and started playing that song again. And no, I hadn't left it on that song. And then it hit me. It was like he was going to keep doing it till it hit me. And I went, oh my God, fallen angel. I went, oh my God, it's really Lucifer. That's really who I'm feeling. That's really who I'm talking to. And I owe him so much. I love him so much because he saved me from existential crisis. He saved me from going back into that fear programming like Dorian Virtue and Kat Von D, and encouraged me to study. I studied so many religions and theologies and so many paths and so many things for myself and progressed. Oh, I probably shouldn't have touched the mic, right? Progressed so far because Lucifer came through, and it really is true. I see him as the light bringer and the awakener. And I think he wanted me to share that before we continue on. And I have no idea. I was going to set a timer and I don't even know how long this is getting. So, okay, I just hope maybe you guys liked hearing that story. So, okay, Lucifer, can you please tell me, is hell an actual real place? Oh, okay. Thank you. Can you return to normal, please? Um, but is hell also a state of mind? Is hell also a state of mind? Yeah, I believe you see. Okay, can you return to normal, please? Thank you. I believe when you pass, you're probably going to see what you believe you're going to see. Is this correct? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Um, is hell also what we call the underworld? Are hell and the underworld the same thing? No answer, or I have to ask it in a different way. What I had wrote down is yes and no. Is the underworld a reference to our subconscious mind? Is the underworld our subconscious mind? In a manner of speaking, is the underworld our subconscious mind? Yes, okay. Can you return to normal, please? Thank you. Is the underworld also the astral realm? Is the underworld the astral, what we call the astral realm? Kind of no. Okay, he's saying to say what I wrote Right, no, okay, he's saying to say what I wrote down. Can you return to normal, please? Um, he wrote it as like you have the conscious, and your conscious is your ego, and that is Tippereth on the Kabbalistic tree of life. And so, and then the subconscious, and then you have Malkuth, the earthly realm, and then your subconscious is kind of like the underworld under that. But then the astral plane is like off to this side. Um, it's like the best way to explain it, right? Like, in kind of easy terms for people to understand, because there's all kinds of different dimensions around us, and it just depends on your vibration. But for ease of sake, right? The conscious is like Tippereth, and then the Malkuth is earth, and then the underworld is like our subconscious or our shadow, and then the astral plane is kind of its own off to the side, like its own realm. Hopefully, you guys get what I mean because he's saying yes. So hopefully that's okay. So let me get to. I think we need to talk about Kabbalah and things like that. This is going to get too long another time. Okay, can you turn to regular, please? Thank you. Um, are you and Satan and the devil all the same being? Lucifer, are you, Satan, and the devil all the same being? Sorry, I'm trying to hold my arms steady. No. Okay. Okay, please return to normal. It's it's complicated because of people's beliefs and how many egregores that we've created. There's like a Satan that was created because of Christianity, but Satan was also, it did just mean Hasatan. It was adversary, and anybody who was your adversary or any god that was a god of chaos or adversarial energy was classified into that. Can you return to normal, please? Thank you. Um, so like, would Ahriman be considered Satan or a Satan? Yes, thank you. Okay, can you please return to normal? I want to ask about a few. Thank you. Would Set, the Egyptian god, also be considered a Satan or one of those adversarial? Is Set, the Egyptian god, also a Satan or a Satan? Hmm. Answer yes and no. Is Samael also a Satan? I don't think they like how many people we've discerned with. Does Satanist like being called Satanist? Does Satanist like being called Satanist instead of just Satan or Satan? Or is that just what I like to call him because I have an issue saying Satan because of Christianity? Yes. I knew it was gonna, yes. Okay, so even though Satan is more of a title, even though Satan's more of a title and adversarial energy, does Satan like to be called Satan though? Does Satan like to be called Satan? Is there one entity called Satan? Or are there many entities under the name Satan? Are there many beings and entities under the name Satan? No answer. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. I'm not holding these. Okay. Is Satan also Saturn, the planet Saturn? How people talk about, Saturn's cube, and is Satan technically Saturn, or the energy of Saturn? Okay, thank you. Please return to normal. Hope you cannot hear that music. I was praying to God she wasn't going to do that while I was making a video. Is Saturn and Satan also Kronos then? What we call in the Greek the father of time? Is he also Kronos? Okay. So I think when we get Satan wrong, it's because, can you please return to normal? It's because he's not here to punish us. Saturn, Satan, whatever, is what holds matter, right? Holds spirit into matter in this material reality. Yes. Thank you. Okay, can you please return to normal? Is there also a devil? Is there also then a devil, like a single entity called the devil? Is there a single entity called the devil? No, answer. Is the devil more of a title? Kind of like Satan or Lucifer? Is the devil more of a title? Are there many devils? Are there many archetypes that okay, yes. Okay, thank you. Can you please return to normal? So, as some people say, is Pan or Cernunnos considered a devil? Yeah, like that, or the witch's devil? Thank you. Is somebody like Loki considered a devil? Is somebody like Loki considered a devil? Okay. So I think thank you. Can you please return to normal? I believe that the devil is associated with the trickster archetype. Is that correct? What we call the devil is basically what we kind of call the trickster archetype. Yes. But can you return to normal, please? As I've come to learn and understand, the devil archetype, now one of my favorite tarot cards as I've progressed in my journey, is to set us free, is to teach us how to break our own selves free out of our own chains, out of the labyrinth, like my favorite movie, The Labyrinth, right? That archetype is to teach us how to break ourselves free. Thank you. Can you please return? Let me please ask this one question, because that made me think. One of the main things the spirits of the Ars Goetia have taught me, it was King Paimon first, Lucifer, and King Asmodee, that the very thing that binds us is the very thing that sets us free. And Pan, of course, my beloved Pan also taught me that. Is that true? That the very thing that binds us is the very thing that sets us free. Yep. That is like one of the biggest keys, biggest things I've learned in my spiritual growth journey. Like the whole point of all of it. Not all of it, but okay. He said to ask me more questions about the devil, to actually to Pan or Cernunnos himself, so we'll do a whole nother video on that. I wanted to see if there's anything. I had so many. Oh, I said that. Oh, here's another good one I hope to ask here. Okay, could we maybe in a way consider Satan, or the title of Satan, our shadow self? Yep, that was a quick, because that's what he came through and told me. I wrote down here, okay, thank you very much. Can you please return to normal? And then along those lines, can we consider Yahweh, Yaldabaoth, as everybody talks about, demiurge, as the ego? Is Yahweh then basically, or the demiurge, a representation of our ego? Yes. Thank you. Every He's like, there are, the beings do exist, but they're also archetypes of our own minds, because as above, so below. Source is all consciousness, all mind. It all is here as well. So they're entities in and of themselves, yes, but they're also archetypes of our own selves. Nothing around you, or what, there's nothing outside that is not also within you. Let me Is that correct? Am I saying that correct, Lucifer? As above, so below. That there is nothing that is out that is not also within. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. If you want to ask more about like more names and stuff like that, there have been so many names associated with Lucifer, Satan, the devil. It's gotten so confused. Please let me know if there's any more that you would like me to ask about. Oh, and I wanted to ask quick about the spirits of the Ars Goetia, if I may. Are most of the spirits of the Ars Goetia old gods that got demonized? Yes. Okay, thank you. Can you please return to normal? Thank you. Are some of them other types of spirits, though? Are some of the Ars Goetia other types of spirits, or would be more called, like, to be called daemons rather than gods? Do some of the Ars Goetia spirits, would they rather be called daemons than gods? Okay, yeah, I feel like it's a mix. And of course, we know like Belial, Baal, these were Canaanite gods. It's a mixing pot. Can you return to normal, please? Yes, is that true that they kind of just, even like the Bible itself, that the Ars Goetia, they just made it like a mixing pot and just threw a bunch of, yes. And this is why I want people to get to know them, and I want to channel them to try so they can have a voice and tell you who they are and how they see themselves. Correct. And he's reminding me to say that daemon meant spirit. It was all spirits, angels, demons, deities. They didn't separate them until after Christianity and Catholicism. It meant knowledgeable spirits, basically, in Greek. And so there was never this angel versus demon thing. It was just spirits that all have two sides. We all have two sides that could be good and could be not so good. And, that's just. So the term demon and demonic has been grossly misused. And yeah. Um, oh, and let me just ask one more thing. Was Solomon's temple a real actual temple? Was Solomon's temple a real actual temple? I also know it was, or was it more allegory? Is Solomon's temple in our minds? Is Solomon's temple in our minds? It may, now I'm not saying I'm a historian or it could actually exist also, probably does, but it was more of like allegory about the stories of the mind. Are we supposed to integrate all 72 angels and all 72 demons? Was right, for to reach our highest selves, to reach Christ consciousness or our holy guardian angel. And they've told me that many times too, that it's about integrating the angels and the demons, not that whole Solomon's thing about binding them and forcing them to do their will and all that. That was not, yeah. Yeah, they don't like that at all. I would never advise that, and nor would I ever do that. all spirits, deities, just as humans, are to be respected. And, you know, we don't want to be enslaved as human beings. So would you want somebody calling you up and binding you and going, hey, motherfucker, you're going to do this for me or else? No. And not only that, but if you're working with the spirit that you don't know or haven't met or whatever, you're going to assume that you're going to bind them to do your will and that they're not going to come back for your ass someday, or they might not be too happy about that. Yeah, so I just had to, yeah, exactly. You should never bind or control anything. I'm sure there are some extreme left-handists, whatever, occultists that may come at me for saying that, but oh well, too bad. Okay, so oh, he says he wants me to mention this, and then that's enough because it's getting quite late. My cat is also now creeping and has discovered the dowsing rods. So he said, oh wait, let me see if he'll just answer. He said that being a Lucifer or being like him, okay, hold on, let me just study myself here, is like going Super Saiyan. Yep, he wanted to say that right away. That when you have integrated your shadow, Satan, with your ego, Yahweh, you could look at it that way, that is when you become like Lucifer, like a Lucifer, which is basically going Super Saiyan. You find your brightest light through the dark and not ignoring or repressing or denying, but loving both sides of yourself. And, you know, like the alchemist, like the philosopher's stone, you move from algretto to negretto to rubetto, the three stages, from the white to the black until the red. The red is the third thing, which is when you become the philosopher's stone, your holy guardian angel, because you have now integrated both sides and you have gone Super Saiyan. Yeah, he likes that Super Saiyan analogy. I do too, because I feel like when he comes and he's in his bright glowing gold light, that's like his Super Saiyan version. Oh, and then thank you very much. I just wanted to say also, oh, now I lost my train of thought. Something about when he came to me in the golden light. All right, well, whatever. Totally. So, anyways, I'm sure Lucifer will come back and talk again, and I know there's quite a few of the Ars Goetia that are waiting to come through next time. So, I'm very excited to be doing this, and I hope that you guys all enjoyed. And again, please consider leaving your comments. I will try to, link below, like Meghan Solar Glow, her channel, and other channels that I highly recommend. Thank you, Lucifer, for being here with us, and I hope you all have a great day. Blessed be. Bye.